Welcome back to the Fearless Floyd Show. I'm your host, Fearless Floyd, and this is part two of the Who is Christopher Hauser expose in three parts. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video. It is copyrighted, of course. And I am not licensed by the AMA or the ABA to practice medicine or law, respectively, and do not claim to be either. Uh, I'm already catching a little flack for doing these videos, but hey, you know what? That's what this show is all about. Because right there where it says fearless, that's who I am. I've got balls. I got fucking big brass balls. And I put them out there to get chopped off before, and they've gotten chopped off. Thank God I grew another pair, right? Isn't that how it works? So, we're going to dive right back into this. And just so you know, we've already addressed that, Chris has been to prison, and I have no problems with that. This is not a hit piece on Chris. I applaud Chris for his efforts, his brilliance, his genius. He has over 1 million views on YouTube and 62 videos. Awesome. He's got probably 10,000 followers by now on Telegram. Awesome. Hey, more power to you, brother. Boom, go. However, there are a few questions out there that are unanswered. And let me preface the rest of these videos by saying this. And I just went round and round and round with one of his followers who didn't know how to use the 1099-A process. And according to this gentleman, used Chris's process and had success. Now, my question is, and this is my question, anybody that watches this video or anybody that knows anybody, okay, that has used the 1099-A process and has been successful twice, not once, twice. Okay, first time maybe a fluke. Second time, it works. That you can show me a copy of your 1099-A, okay, your copy. If you go in to buy a car, I want to see the purchase agreement. I want to see the MCO, manufacturer certificate of origin. Okay, because more than likely you're out buying a brand new car. You're not buying a $5,000 beater that's going to drip oil in your driveway, right? Okay, and I want to see the title or the MCO. Okay, and I want to see it all paid off. I want to see your paper tags, your temporary tags, and I want to see a picture of you with the vehicle, and everything better match up. Or if you, like this gentleman just told me, he paid off his property taxes using the 1099-A process. If he did, I want to see the 1099-A. I want to see your property tax bill before you did the discharge, before the date on the 1099-A. And then I want to see a copy of your property tax records after you did the 1099-A to show me that it was discharged. If you can do that, man, I will put it all over fucking, excuse me, I've been trying to clean up my language. I will put it all over YouTube, BitChute, Telegram. I will preach it to the masses. Anybody and everybody who can hear me or who can see me or who will listen, okay? I will do that for you. And if you use Chris Hauser's method, hey, I'll be the first to get on here and pump him up. No problem. Now, let me preface that by telling you, okay, that Chris Hauser's Telegram group was started on or around December 8th, 2021. And I joined it about a week or two after that. Just, somebody sent it to me, and, of course, I didn't jump right on it. Boom. Got in it, watched it every day, all day. And I did that for about a month and a half. Yeah, about a month and a half. And Chris pontificates that the process takes about 45 days for the Treasury to cut a check to discharge whatever you're trying to do, whether it's utility bill, property taxes, or a vehicle. Correct? Okay. So since his videos are almost 4 months old, which would be 90 to 120 days, his Telegram group has been up since the first week of December. And I had followed it for almost a month and a half, which is 45 days, and got up to I think it's 65 is when I finally fell off, 65th day. So in that time, there was plenty of time for somebody to effectuate the process correctly and get relief and be able to provide the sustenance so everybody could see it and be able to digest it and emulate it, to do it twice. However, in that time, I was on the Chris Hauser Telegram study group. I never saw one success. I saw a couple of people allege that they were successful. And when I DM'd them, they disappeared. Never answered me. Not one. Yeah. So that sent up some red flags. Also in Chris Hauser study group, if you go against the grain, they kick you off. You know, he had one, Karen Smith. I mean, she actually lived up to her name. She was a Karen. Absolutely. And there's others on there. And, they will kick you off if you don't follow the narrative. And I get it if you're in there trying to, sell your wares, steal material, beat up on people, cyberbullying. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Kick those fuckers out of there. Because that's not what it's about. It's about moving forward, progress. But when somebody questions something, you shouldn't kick them off or delete them for questioning something. Because we're all supposed to be questioning authority. That's why we're doing this process, because we've questioned everything. Okay? We know that there's something going on behind the background that we don't know about, that they don't want us to know about, but we do know about, and we are trying to get across that hurdle. So, with those prefaces, do not think this is a hit piece on Chris. Chris has been invited multiple times to come on my show, do a video. I'm sure by now he's been beat up with multiple emails, multiple texts. I'm sure he's been hit in Telegram telling him that I'm doing a video on him right now. It's on YouTube. He's probably watching the intro. So, Chris, you have my number. Make my phone ring. Okay? We're all going to sit here right now. Okay? Microphone's on. We're going to wait for it to ring. When it rings, you'll know because it has a distinctive ring. Okay? So, with that, now let's see who really is doing a hit piece on Christopher Hauser, because it's not Fearless Floyd. Okay? So let's put that out there. So before you guys want to dive in the water and don't know what kind of water it is, whether it's salt water, sewer water, clear water, and you're just going to jump right in. Oh, Floyd, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, man, you're doing him a disservice. No, I'm putting the facts out there. If you have a brain, you decide. If his process works for you, man, thank God something's working, right? Jesus Christ. So don't beat up the fucking piano. Excuse me again. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay? This isn't my story. I'm just presenting the facts. All right? So, who really is doing the hit piece on Christopher Hauser? Because it's not Fearless Floyd. So, let's get over here and, yeah, here we go. It's this guy, the neutral neophyte. Okay? Neutral. He says he's neutral. Who is he? This, my friends, is Harvey Dent. Okay? And boom. Here's a video on Chris. Here's a video on Chris. Here's a video on Chris. Here's another video, or here's another video on Chris. Here's another one. Here's another one. There's 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 another one. Okay. There's another one. So who's doing the hit pieces on Christopher Hauser? Is it Fearless Floyd? No. This is an expose because Christopher Hauser is very popular on YouTube, very popular on Telegram, has a ton of people following him. Congratulations, Chris, from the bottom of my heart. Dude, you've done a fantastic job of getting a following for being out of prison probably a year now. So with that, yeah, you have my accolades. I'm not giving you the golf clap. I'm giving you the full clap, brother. So you done well. So anyway, this is Harvey Dent, and I'm not even going to open one of these videos so y'all can hear all this stuff. But you can see the views. He's getting some traction. But anyway, this chick right here, this is Heather Tucci. And I'll be totally frank and honest with you. Until I saw this, I had no idea who this chick was. Never heard of her. Because after I got a personal visit from the Bryan College Station special agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and a deputy sheriff from the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office Joint Task Force deputy come knocking on my trailer and asked me about two gentlemen that I was locked up with in prison. I stepped back because all I knew about was if I go any further forward, I'm probably going to step in some shit that I don't want to step in, so I better not. So I ceased. That was in probably very early 2017. So apparently that's when this chick hit real big. It was like 2017, 2018. And I guess she's in prison. I still don't know anything about her. But apparently, this gentleman right here, Harvey Dent, has made a connection between these two, Christopher Allen Hauser and Christine Hauser, and I don't know who that is, with this girl, woman, Heather Tucci. See, right here, he's got a bunch of them linked up. And you can see that, he's got, what, well over a dozen videos talking about Chris Hauser. So don't for a minute think it's me doing the hit piece or beating up on Chris, because I've spoken to Chris. And with that preface, okay, we're going to go right here. That's the wrong one. And here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you guys my bona fides. Okay, so stand corrected. When you want to jump on me, stand corrected, because I'm fixing to correct you. You better come correct. I'm telling you. Fearless Floyd, right there. Harvey Dent, Freedom Online at Gmail. February 21st, 8:42 p.m., Monday. Hello, Harvey. I am a fellow YouTuber. I have Chris's contact info and spoke to him for 2.5 hours about 50 days ago on the phone. I'm probably the only one who has read his appellate record. And having 12 plus years of litigating, I know how to read legal vehicles. I know exactly what he is doing. If you'd like to do a show together about Chris, just let me know. I have a Zoom account. Check out my channel. All the best, Fearless Floyd. Okay? And this is from my sent folder, as you can see right here. And the neutral neophyte, Harvey Dent, was so kind as to reply to this email. And this is his reply, The Forbidden Truth, Harvey Dent at freedomline at gmail.com. February 22nd, 2:07 a.m. Apparently, Harvey's a night owl. What part of connected to Heather Ann Tucci do you not understand? The dude is connected to a known operative. Why email me about him? What do you care? It's not like shit he is doing or talking about is new or even partially backed by proof. Okay? So that's Harvey Dent, the neutral neophyte. That's his story. Those are his allegations. Those are his claims. I'm not making them. Okay? I have my own theory, which I have shared with my close contacts. And I can pull them up, I can interview them, and they will tell you what I've told them repeatedly, over and over, at least 2 months ago. Okay? That's my own theory, my own opinion, based upon the knowledge I have learned by doing my own freaking research and reading. Okay? Because reading is fundamental, and that's what a lot of people don't want to do. Everybody wants to shortcut. That's why I am really pissed off, because Chris put this out there and he said, oh, here's a list of dealerships. Go out there and do the 1099A process. Well, guess what? Everybody ran out there all greedy and ran to Bentley dealerships and Mercedes dealerships and BMW dealerships. And guess what? They wasted the time and energy of those people selling cars. Now, are all car salesmen good people, bad people, whatever? I don't care. It's the fact that all these people bum rushed these dealerships and wasted a whole bunch of time, because in the 60 days that I was on Chris Hauser Telegram channel, I didn't see one person, not one freaking person, get on there and say, oh my God, I went into a dealership and I got a car and here's a picture of it and here's my MCO and here's exactly what I did. Not once. Okay? All that time and energy wasted. Wasted. Okay? And if you've ever worked in a car dealership and sold cars, or you were a finance manager, you understand how much time is precious. Because every lead that walks in that door, that's your opportunity to make money. And if you're dealing with a freaking crash test dummy, you're not making any money. Your time just got wasted, where you could have been making $2,000 to $3,000 selling somebody a car. Instead, you're dealing with this crash test dummy talking about a process you never even heard of. What? What the hell's a 1099? And they don't even know. Oh, here, watch Chris's video. Okay, now you're going to burn up another 20 minutes of my time watching the video, because you don't know what the fuck's going on. Excuse me again, because you didn't do your homework. Okay, so disservice? Yeah, okay. And that's what somebody told me that I was doing about doing these videos. No, it's a disservice to all those people out there that are hard working, hustling, trying to make it at work, that actually work for a living, selling cars or financing cars, getting you a loan. And it doesn't matter whether the vehicle's already prepaid and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, with House Joint Resolution 192, that doesn't matter. It's the fact matters that they don't know all that's going on. All they know is I got to sell cars to pay my bills, to put food in my mouth, to feed my kid, pay child support, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I just went off on a rant. Yeah, I did. So let me get back to the story. All right. So, as you see, Harvey Dent's the one who's beaten Chris Hauser up. I reached out to Harvey Dent. You saw his reply, correct? Good. Now, you know I have reached out to Chris Hauser. Is Chris on my show? No. Okay. There you go. I've reached out to all parties involved, invited them on. No. So, let's proceed with the video. Okay? And let me go over here. And oh God, let's see. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, we're gonna keep that down. Let me go over here. that down. Sorry. Go to my groups. Okay. Somebody sent me a link to this. And it's the Facebook right here, Facebook groups, Chris Hauser Study Group. Only 311 members. Okay. And David, I believe, is the creator and host of this room. I've spoken to him before on a Zoom meeting. Yeah, he's the administrator, group expert. Okay. At a Toyota dealership now, they're a bit stumped but kind. We are assuring them all as well. Please send good vibes and let us know any tips for dealerships. Forms in hand, filled out, endorsed properly, and all. That was yesterday. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This is still going on. People are running in these dealerships as crash test dummies, and they're beating up these people and don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay. And they're greedy. Hey, look, don't go to a Toyota dealership. Pay your electricity bill first. Do something small. Pay off a credit card. Don't go waste people's time. I mean, and this just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. And I'm looking. So, not hearing anything from the Treasury in 4 to 5 weeks after the realtor sent the forms in. Is this possibly a good thing? Well, Chris, you're probably not going to ever hear anything back. Okay? I've done this. You see anybody filing a 3949A in Ogden, Utah for an investigation for fraud? Have I done that? Of course I have. Okay? You better believe Floyd done it. I don't get on here and just talk shit. I do what I say and I say what I do. Y'all should know that by now. All right. So let me get to the next place. All right. That's where I wanted to be. We're going to jump back on. I had somebody leave a comment. They go, 3 parts. Yeah, well, I'm trying to cut this down, okay? So you don't have to sit here for an hour, have to listen to all this stuff because this is a very lengthy diatribe, an expose. Absolutely. So, anyway, for anybody who did not watch part one, this is the opinion of the Court of Criminal Appeals of Tennessee. This is the highest criminal court in Tennessee. Okay. They review all criminal appeals. Now, Chris has appealed this opinion to the Tennessee Supreme Court, which is the highest court in Tennessee on the state level. Okay. This is all state level stuff. This is his direct appeal. Okay. His state appellate review. He does not have a federal appellate review because he does not have a federal conviction. So I'm telling you exactly what's going on. All right. Now, in Texas, generally, you do not have relief at the Texas Supreme Court level unless you would do a writ of certiorari, which generally is not a step. But however, if you're fighting the Anti-Effective Death Penalty Act, ADEPA, the 1 year equitable tolling rule, then yeah, you would do that just to stop the clock. But most of you have no idea what I just said, right? Yeah, I didn't think so. And unless you go look it up, you won't know. And so, uh, hit me up over here. Nope. Okay. Now, I just read this opening paragraph right here in part one. Okay. Tennessee Rules of Appellate Procedure, page 3. Appeal as of right. Judgments of criminal court affirmed. Okay. Timothy L. Easter, judge, delivered the opinion of the court in which Robert W. Wedemeyer and Robert L. Holloway Jr. judges joined. Heard that. Um, this looks to be a three-panel or a panel opinion, 3 judges of the court. I don't know how many judges they have sitting on their court. However, just to show you, and there's a link in the comments below, okay, for I believe this is it. Nope, this is it. Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Come on. Get unlimited data, calls, and texts for the Fi Unlimited plan. 5, 4, 3, 2. This Honorable Court of Criminal Appeals of Tennessee is now in session.
Thank you, Mr. Hibner. Good morning, everyone.
All right. This is your panel right here. That's Judge Holloway. There's Judge Wedemeyer. And over here, if I can move my little thing, there's Judge Tim Easter. Kind of looks a little disinterested in the proceedings. These are the counsel. That's a clerk. These are counsel for the defendants. Right there is Chris Hauser's attorney, as she speaks a great deal in this video. This video is 62 minutes long. It's on YouTube. The link is down below. I encourage you to listen to it. You're probably going to find it very, very, very boring, simply for the fact that they're using a lot of legalese, a lot of terminology that you're going to be unfamiliar with, a lot of repetitiveness. But what they're doing is trying to argue, I'm going to say a moot point, because having read the opinion, which I'm fixing to read you, I don't think they have a leg to stand on as far as getting this case overturned. However, Christopher Hauser seems to think that they are going to find relief the um, in the Texas or Tennessee Supreme Court next month in April. However, I tend to disagree, and that goes with 12 plus years of personal litigation in state and federal courts, all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, in which I am published. I'm in the books. You can look me up. No big deal. Go to LexisNexis or Westlaw online. I'm in there. Absolutely. So let's get back to that. So I wanted to show you that so that way you guys can go watch that. I had no idea it was on there. I Googled, our YouTube, Chris, and boom, that popped up. And of course, Chris has posted this as well. He posted it 3 times, which, it's no big deal. He's not running from any of this. And I'm not trying to put this out there to disparage Chris in any shape, form, or fashion. Okay. Because Chris already put this out there. So it's not like I'm doing anything that he hasn't already appeased himself to. All I'm doing is just showing you guys. This is an expose, okay? Nothing critical. I'm just kind of explaining to you what's going on, because most of you guys have no idea what this is, okay? So I'm going to spend about 6 to 8 hours of my day today doing this expose. Just so you people know who Chris Hauser is, and if you have any questions, as I do, maybe we can find some answers. If anybody has had some success using the 1099A process, please email me, thefearlessfloydshow@yahoo.com. Please, and send your instruments, send your proof, or let's do a Zoom so we can present it and show everybody that, hey, this is a bona fide method and it works. Otherwise, you know, you can go to my Telegram channel, The Fearless Floyd Show. We can do the same thing there. You can post it on there. So that's where we're at. So anyway, let's get to this. Let's get to this 30. What is it? 37-page opinion. 36. Okay. So I've introduced you to the players. Okay. And here's Emma Ray Tennant on appeal, assistant public defender, Martisha Johnson, district public defender, Jared Mollenkoff and Stella Yarborough at trial, assistant district public defenders, Nashville, Tennessee, for the appellant Christopher Allen Hauser. Okay, so Mr. Hauser claims to be a multimillionaire, has to have court-appointed counsel for the defendant. Well, if you need an attorney, this is a question, not an accusation, a question. If you need an attorney, you do a contract with the attorney, so now you have a security agreement between two parties. Why couldn't you discharge or 1099A process the attorney's bill or invoice? Right? Wouldn't you go find you the best attorney, not just in Knoxville or not just in Cotton County, not just in Tennessee, but in the freaking world? Right? I know I would. I was a multimillionaire. I wouldn't be using no public court-appointed counsel or a team of them to argue my point. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, I've been down that road. Yeah. Court-appointed attorney, yeah, we're in the back in the little holdover area right outside the holdover cell. And I swear to God, okay, swear to God on my life, on my daughter's life. They came at me and offered me 13 years on a plea bargain, not for this conviction, but a prior conviction, okay? And I looked this guy, I go, 13. I go, man, I'd take a 15 before I'd take a 13, because you go down with a 13, you're going to do more time. Because when you have those oddball numbers, it's a red flag to the parole board. Okay, odd number, this guy has to do more time. They don't want to give you a bunch of time, but they want to give you an odd number so it alerts the parole board when you come up for a review. Okay, so I'm like, nah, man, no way I'm taking 13. Well, that's all I'm gonna offer. You know, we can take a trial. I'm like, man, I'm not taking 13. I said, I'll take 12. He goes, no, 13, 12. I'll tell you what, I'm feeling pretty good today. Reaches in his pocket, he pulls out a quarter. He goes, I'll flip you. If I win, you take the 13. If you win, you take 12 and a half. I'm like, I'm blown away. I can't believe he just did this. Flips it, and I called, I don't know, heads or tail, whatever. Flipped over, and I lost. He was generous, yes, kind enough, and he gave me 12 and a half years. Absolutely the God's honest truth. So help me God. Okay? So, Fearless Floyd's been there. I've done this stuff. Nothing I haven't done. I mean, nothing surprises me. It just doesn't even raise an eyebrow. So anyway, here's the players in the game. All right. Here is the opinion. They opined. All right. Y'all ready? This is lengthy, and I'm going to have to spit this out pretty quick. On January 30th, 2017, the Davidson County Grand Jury returned a multi-count indictment containing 302 counts that named 8 defendants: Michael Robert Birdsell, Victor D. Bunch, Austin Gary Cooper, Lee Harold Cromwell, Christopher Allen Hauser, Ronald James Lyons, and Mark A. McConnell, and James Michael Usinger. All of the odd number counts of the indictment charged an individual defendant with one count of fraudulent filing of a lien in violation of Tennessee Code. And while the even number counts in the indictment charged forgery in violation of Tennessee Code, each count of the indictment referred to only one of the defendants and named one victim. In May of 2017, defendant Cooper was named in an indictment in case number, charging him with an additional 5 counts of forgery and 5 counts of fraudulently filing a lien. All of the counts in both cases were based on the electronic filing of Uniform Commercial Code financing statements with the Tennessee Secretary of State's office in Nashville against various individuals. Okay, and I'm going to try to skip through these other defendants who really don't play a part in all of this. And when I get to the very end, I think I'll save that for part 3 because that's the juicy part. Okay. And in part 3, I'm going to give you my theory. What the hell's going on? Okay. Defendants Cooper, Cromwell, Hauser, Lyons, and Usinger were tried together. Counts 51 through 70 of the indictment pertain to defendant Cooper. Counts 71 through 98 to defendant Cromwell. Counts 99 through 140 to defendant Hauser. Counts 141 through 200 to defendant Lyons. And counts 259 to 302 to defendant Usinger. Defendant Cooper's additional 5 counts of filing fraudulent lien and 5 counts of forgery in case number were consolidated with the 302 count indictment for purposes of trial. Prior to trial, defendant Hauser filed a motion for change of venue. Okay, now I've got a hang on. All right, I'm back at Amazon Prime at the door. All right, back to my screen share. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, I can't make this stuff up. Anybody did a disservice to Chris Hauser, it was Chris Hauser. Because I'm going to show you where he admits criminal activity on his own volition. Okay, so pay attention to what I'm reading. Prior to trial, defendant Hauser filed a motion for change of venue. In the motion, defendant Hauser asked the trial court to dismiss the indictment for lack of venue in Davidson County because no element of any of the offenses charged in the indictment was alleged to have occurred in Davidson County. Defendant Hauser alleged the electronic submission of the documents, UCC 1s, from another county did not subject him to venue in Davidson County. Defendants Cromwell and Cooper filed motions joining in defendant Hauser's motions of change of venue. Okay. The trial court held a hearing on the venue motion. The trial court asked at the outset of the hearing why venue was an issue being dealt with prior to trial because, quote, the jury has to find venue, unquote. The 3 defendants joining in the motion, defendant Hauser, Cromwell, and Cooper, argued that venue in Davidson County was improper because the liens at issue were not filed in Davidson County. Specifically, defender Hauser asserted he electronically filed the documents pertaining to the counts charged against him in Coke County, while defendants Cooper and Cromwell claimed that they electronically filed documents related to their charges in Anderson County. Each defendant claimed venue was thus improper in Davidson County because we filed fraudulent liens in other counties, and we admit to it. The state disagreed, arguing that pretrial litigation of venue is improper under Tennessee Rule of Criminal Procedure 12B1. And they're laughing. I mean, they had to be on the floor rolling, laughing their ass off at that critical error. Before the trial even started, they admitted guilt. They don't even have to hold a trial anymore. There it is. They're arguing it. How smart is that? That's not very bright. What kind of trial strategy is that? Oh, we're going to go out and admit we filed them over here, but we're going to like challenge his whole case and take it to trial. Really? It gets better. It gets better. Trust me. Okay, the show's not over. If you want me to take a break, so y'all can go pop some popcorn, come back, watch the show, because we've got another 33 pages to go. Y'all in? Nah, I'm just kidding. But I will cut it off here shortly once we get through most of this. At the conclusion of the hearing, the trial court took the matter under advisement. In a thorough written order, the trial court denied the motion, finding that the state had to prove that one element of each offense occurred in Davidson County, and the fact that the documents had to be filed in the Secretary of State's office in Nashville, even if electronically, established venue in Davidson County. Proof at trial. Whew. Hang on. I need some sustenance for this next one. At trial, approximately 30 witnesses testified on behalf of the state, and they didn't even need those 30. All they needed was the defendants. The testimony of various witnesses revealed that between September 15th and October 2016, defendants electronically filed a total of 102 liens against 42 different individuals with the Tennessee Secretary of State's office in Nashville, Tennessee. Each lien claimed a possessory amount of either $4, $6, $8, or $12 million in, quote, and this is the defendant's quote, the money of account or in lieu of the money of account in Federal Reserve notes or a bank draft of the United States dollars or whatever currency is prescribed as lawful currency of all debts, public and private, in the county in which this claim executed, unquote. Now, I kind of understand what they're trying to say, but that's a lot of garbled verbiage to try to say I want money. Yeah. Anyway, in order to explain the documents at issue, Nathan Burton, the Director of Business Services at Tennessee Secretary of State's office in Nashville, testified for the state. Basically, he was probably testifying as an expert because this is his purview, his business. That's what he does every day, all day. In his role, Mr. Burton was in charge of staff that files, quote, documents related to business formations, as well as UCC lien filings and various other business documents, unquote. He described the UCC lien filing as a document that lets when a company, typically a financial institution, loans money to a business, or if there's a person that may be an individual that loans money to another individual for a business transaction, they file something called a Uniform Commercial Code Financing Statement, aka UCC1. What that statement does is it puts the world on notice that they have an interest, which is a security interest or security agreement, in whatever type of collateral that was used to make that loan. Mr. Burton further explained that a UCC financing statement is a document that is filed when a business transaction involves a loan. The UCC1 is commonly, as it is commonly called, does not create a creditor-debtor relationship. It merely puts the world on notice that a creditor may have an interest in the collateral used to make the loan. Mr. Burton explained that UCC filings are received by the Secretary of State's office, filed and recorded on a server in Nashville. They could be filed either in person or electronically. Mr. Burton explained the steps to electronically file a financing statement on the website of the Secretary of State. To file the document electronically, the submitter is required to provide his or her contact information, the contact information for the debtor, contact information for the secured party, in this case, the submitter of the financing statement, submit a value for the maximum principal and indebtedness, should be of indebtedness, describe the collateral, and pay a fee for the filing. The value of the maximum principal indebtedness is assigned by the submitter of the information. Mr. Burton admitted that he was unsure how a submitter determined the maximum principal indebtedness, explaining that he thought it would be equivalent to the value of what was being financed or the submitter's estimation of whatever this collateral might be worth. The financing statement requires the submitter to sign the document electronically and agree with two attestation boxes one of which basically says that you understand that it is a felony to file a document with no underlying debt. The submitter must also use a credit card to pay the associated filing fees. Once submitted, the information is placed on a server located in Davidson County and is also publicly available on the Secretary of State's website. During the testimony of Mr. Burton, the state admitted over 100 exhibits. These exhibits contain financing statement documents, generally including, let me jack this up a little bit. There we go. Generally including one, a UCC1 financing statement and accompanying acknowledgement page, a UCC3 amendment to the financing statement and acknowledgement page, payment documents and receipts, and in several cases, documents concerning the termination or removal of the financing statements. During the admission of each of these exhibits, Mr. Burton testified similarly. He described the UCC1 financing statement as a document submitted electronically. He testified to the name and address of the person submitting the document. The name and addresses for the debtor, the secured party, and the collateral description entered by the submitter as reflected on each document. The amount listed on each lien varied from $4 million to $12 million. One example includes the following language in the collateral description. Claim of lien, May 23rd, 2016, in the amount of $8 million in the money of account or in lieu of the money or in Federal Reserve notes or a bank draft to the United States dollars of whatever currencies prescribed, lawful currency in satisfaction of all debts, public and private, and the county in which this claim was executed. Really doesn't make much sense, but okay, that's their verbiage. More power to them. Apparently, they were very unsuccessful. This particular UCC1 listed the maximum principal indebtedness as 0. The UCC1 is accompanied by a UCC3 amendment to the original financing statement and related payment documents. This particular UCC3 assigned a UCC1 to the U.S. Treasury in Washington, D.C. Sound kind of familiar? Mr. Burton explained that a lien based on a UCC1 lapses after 5 years unless the submitter files a continuation within a 6-month period extending the UCC1 for additional 5 years. There's no real mechanism in place to get a lien removed. And absolutely there is. They just aren't sharing that. An individual can file a termination statement that does not remove the lien. The lien still shows in the record for 1 year after the initial lapse date. Mr. Burton explained that there is really only one very specific way to get a lien removed, and it applies to public officials. This provision was passed by legislation in 2017. So let me kind of explain to you why that provision was passed by the legislature in 2017, because this movement was real big in the early 2000s, and it was called the redemption process, or cracking the code, and that was becoming a secure party creditor. Well, people got wind of this and started filing UCC1s against prison officials, judges, prosecutors, politicians, and they didn't like it. So pretty much across the nation, each jurisdiction started passing legislation, signed into law, and created a methodology in which to remove a lien. And in Texas, I'm pretty sure that's under the CPRC, Civil Practice and Remedies Code, to remove a lien. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. CPRC, Civil Practice and Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code. And there's a methodology in there where you petition a court to have the lien removed as fraudulent, baseless, or because there is no security interest or security agreement in place. Okay? So you have to have a meeting of the minds, 2 parties in agreement to file a UCC1 or a mechanics lien. So put that in your brain, kids. Now, in all, defendants Cooper, Hauser, Lyons, and Usinger each filed liens purporting to have a $12 million possessory interest in the property of the following individuals: Buddy Bradshaw, the county mayor of Loudoun County; Mark Brown, an attorney from Knoxville; Michael Menifee, Mr. Brown's law partner in Knoxville. Michael Pemberton, a circuit court judge for the Ninth Judicial District of Tennessee. John Weaver, chancellor for the Sixth Judicial District of Tennessee. Tim Burchett, the mayor of Knox County. Howard Hogan, the clerk and master of Knox County. Lisa Niles, the circuit court clerk for Loudoun County. And Ron Woody, the county executive for Roane County. Now, did I not just preface that by why they created this legislation? Exactly what I'm showing you. Okay? Fearless Floyd, been there, done it. Got the book, got the scars, got the disciplinary cases, got the good time taken, got my trustee status demoted. Yeah, I've been there, I've done it. Been investigated by the FBI, Secret Service, Postal Inspector, IRS. Ab-freaking-salutely. Okay? So, here we go. I already got through those guys. Defendant Lyons filed a second lien against each of these individuals, in which he claimed an additional interest of $12 million. Defendant Usinger filed second liens against Mr. Brown, Mr. Menifee, Chancellor Weaver, and Mr. Burchett, Mr. Hogan, and Ms. Niles for $12 million. Defendant Usinger filed a third lien against Ms. Niles for $12 million. Boy, he's trying to take her to the cleaners, wasn't he? So, Defendant Cromwell filed liens claiming an $8 million interest in properties of James. Okay, I'm not even going to read all that. So we're going to get down here to Mr. Hauser. Defendants Cooper, Hauser, and Usinger also filed liens against Tracy Trott, the commander of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Defendant Hauser and Usinger filed a lien against David Perkey, the commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security for the state of Tennessee, for $4 million. Defendant Cooper filed liens against Don Late, the General Sessions Judge in Anderson County, and Paul White, the Anderson County Sheriff, for $4 million. Defendant Cromwell filed liens against Judge Roger Miller and Ben Higgins, a special investigator with the Oak Ridge Police Department, for $4 million. Defendant Hauser filed liens against James Acuff, Lou Ann Ballou, Telford Fogarty, a chancellor, the 4th and 5th Judicial Districts of Tennessee, Jeffrey Green, a lawyer from Coke County. Jeffrey Green, upon my further investigation and research, represents the basically the tax assessor or tax collector in Knoxville, Coke County, however you say that. Raquel Hatter, Melissa Hauser, defendant Hauser's ex-wife, retired Circuit Judge Ben Hooper, Peggy Lane, Judge Diane Sloan, and Judge Richard Vance for $4 million. Okay? This lastly, once all the exhibits were entered into evidence through the testimony of Mr. Burton prior to a lunch break on the first day of trial, the trial court commented that it wanted to make it easier for the jury, and during our deliberations as well as the record, the trial court proposed to secure 102 manila files and place each exhibit into a folder. Out on the outside of the folder, the trial court proposed placing a label with the exhibit number, count, name of the defendant, UCC filing number, alleged debtor, and the filing date. Counsel for the state agreed with the idea, but counsel for defendant Hauser objected because the value of the documents was contested. The trial court explained that it would use the amount listed on the financial statement. The court explained that the label would contain the following information: the exhibit number, the corresponding count of the indictment, and the financial statement amount. Co-defendant Michael Robert Birdsall from Anderson County testified that he had been charged with A counts of filing fraudulent lien, A counts of forgery in the same indictment in counts 1 through 16. Mr. Birdsall knew defendant Cooper and the other defendants, but testified he did not meet defendant Lyons until he was incarcerated. In March 2014, Mr. Birdsall was pulled over by Officer Shannon Runyon. Basically, this is the story of Mr. Birdsall. Okay? Now, this is the story of the connection between Birdsall and defendant Cooper. Cooper will come into play later in part 3. Around this same time, Mr. Birdsell met Defendant Cooper and a few other defendants at a meeting of the, quote, Knoxville Patriots, unquote, at a restaurant in Knoxville. At these meetings, the people in attendance, quote, researched law, unquote. After one of the meetings, Mr. Birdsell told Defendant Cooper about his legal problems. Defendant Cooper's response was, quote, well, that's $4 million, unquote. Defendant Cooper said that he could teach Mr. Birdsell how to represent himself. Though Defendant Cooper did not hold himself out to be a lawyer, he told Mr. Birdsell that he represented people. Defendant Cooper told Mr. Birdsell that he charged $6,500 for his help in filing liens. Mr. Birdsell gave Defendant Cooper $500 in cash that night, but eventually paid him the full $6,500 in exchange for help with filing liens. Defendant Cooper instructed Mr. Birdsell to go home and type up a statement of facts and send them to Defendant Cooper via email. Defendant Cooper and Mr. Birdsell corresponded occasionally about the matter, but they never went to court. Mr. Birdsell explained that he merely filled out paperwork as instructed by Defendant Cooper. On one occasion, Mr. Birdsell met Defendant Cooper and Defendant Usinger at a library, and Defendant Cooper filed documents on a computer. Mr. Birdsell used his credit card to pay the fees associated with the filing of the document. The filing fee was $15 for each document. The state introduced testimony from some of the alleged debtors of each defendant. Only 2 of these witnesses testified that they actually knew Defendant Hauser, including his ex-wife and attorney Jeffrey Green. None of the witnesses claimed to have a financial arrangement either as a borrower or a lender with Defendant Hauser. The state also introduced testimony from various people named on the liens filed by Defendant Cooper. Again, none of the witnesses testified that they personally knew Defendant Cooper. Several testified that they were successful in having liens removed. With respect to, okay, that's Defendant Lyons, about Cromwell. And Colonel Tracy Trott, the commander of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, testified that he did not know any of the defendants personally, explained that he had never had any financial indebtedness or dealings with any of the defendants. Colonel Trott learned from a sheriff in East Tennessee that there would be a lien in the Secretary of State's office against him with his name on it. Colonel Trott was able to use the legal department in his office to discover that there were multiple liens filed against him and to have the liens removed. Colonel Trott admitted that, as far as he knew, no one had tried to enforce the liens against him. At the conclusions of the proof, each defendant moved for a judgment of acquittal, which means they moved to be found not guilty, acquitted of all charges. The trial court denied the motions. The jury found each defendant guilty as charged. The trial court held a sentencing hearing at which defendants were sentenced as follows. Cooper got, okay, let me explain to you how this works. Okay. Starting to lose my voice, as you can hear. Okay, we'll just go straight to Chris Hauser because that's what this expose is about. It's not about these other clowns. They just happen to be here. All right. 21 counts of filing a fraudulent lien. Okay, and these are all his counts. 21 counts of forgery with a jury affixing a value of $250,000 per forgery. Okay, so he got 2 years for each of the convictions of filing a fraudulent lien. These. He got 20 years for each conviction for forgery to be served concurrently, which means they're all run together. They're not stacked, okay? And they could have stacked them. That would be called consecutively. That means he would have had to do the 20 years flat, all 20 years, or do enough time to come up for parole, be granted parole, and then start on the next 20 years and come up for parole or discharge 20 years, and then come up for the next one. And as you see, he's got 21 counts, so if he did that way with the consecutive, he would be there for a hot minute. However, they graciously granted him concurrency, which does it all make sense? It's all commercial. It's a commercial proceeding under civil rules and procedure masquerading as whatever they label it to be, because it's all fiction. It's a three-ring circus. You, your opposing party, and the court. Three rings. Okay. Uh, I mean, this stuff is funny. So anyway, they ran a concurrent. So basically, this is how it works in the criminal justice system. Because this sentence is larger than this sentence ate this sentence up, and this sentence really doesn't even count for shit. They don't even pay attention to it. All they look at is that sentence. Okay? That's how the criminal justice system works. So technically, if you got a 2-year sentence, you went to prison, you did a year, and they had to mandatorily discharge you on mandatory supervision release, and you still had another year on paper, and you went out and picked up another offense, got sentenced to 5 years, that 5 years is going to eat up that other case. So it's just going to disappear, and you're now doing the 5. Okay? That's how the criminal justice system works. After I read this, I'm going into part 3. After sentencing, each of the defendants filed a motion for new trial. All of the defendants, with the exception of Defendant Hauser, filed at least one amendment to their original motion for new trial. Some of the defendants filed more than one amendment. Defendant Hauser argued that the trial court erred by denying the motion to dismiss for lack of venue. Trial court erred by dismissing the motion to dismiss the forgery counts on the basis of double jeopardy. The trial court erred in denying the motion for judgment of acquittal, especially due to the notable absence of alleged victims James Norman Acuff, Lou Ann Ballou, Chancellor Telford Fogarty, Raquel Hatter, Howard Hogan, Judge Ben Looper, Peggy Lane, Michael Menifee, and Judge O. Dwayne Sloan. The trial court erred by fixing dollar amounts to the outside of the exhibit folders. The trial court erred by allowing witnesses to testify regarding the consequences of the liens rather than the actual damages. The trial court erred by refusing to allow a medical expert to testify on Defendant Hauser's behalf. The evidence was insufficient to support the convictions, and sentences were excessive. Okay, now I'm just going to point this out to you real quick. This is real easy for you to understand. Okay? Motion for judgment and acquittal, especially because these witnesses, that right there, were not present. Okay? It's got 21 counts. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. So if you knock off 9 of those 21 convictions, you still have 12 convictions outstanding, upholding your conviction. So that's just a waste of breath, basically, time and energy. But hey, more power to you. Okay? Because even if you win on that ground, you still lost. Okay? You might win the battle, but you lost the war. So that's a dead horse, beating a dead horse. Okay? So it goes into the Defendant Cooper raising their issues, Defendant Lyons raising his issues, Defendant Cromwell raising his issues, Defendant Usiger raising his issues. Okay. On appeal, each defendant raises several issues, some for the first time. To complicate appellate review, some issues were abandoned or framed in a different language by first one defendant, then another. Okay. So with that, we're going on to page 13 of 36. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell wherever it is on this thing. Share this video. This is not a hit piece on Chris Hauser. This is an expose on the factual evidence in the public sphere. This is nothing that I'm alleging, I'm claiming, I'm making up, showing it all to you. This is not my shit. This shit belongs to the courts, the government, the public sphere. It's on the internet. All you gotta do is look for it. You'll find it. Stay tuned for part 3, because part 3 is going to blow your socks off. I promise you. Okay? You're going to be astonished when I read to you what the evidence shows. Okay? I will also discuss in part 3 my conversation that I had with Chris Hauser. Absolutely. Okay. And as you know, I've reached out to all parties concerned, asked for them to be on my show so we can have a rational, calm, mature conversation. And you know the facts. Here's my phone. It's not ringing. No emails. So it is what it is. You can reach me at the Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com. You can leave a comment below. You can also reach me on my new Telegram platform, The Fearless Floyd Show. Get on there. You're going to find a bunch of like-minded people. Ask any question you want. If I can't answer it, hopefully one of the fellow members of the group can answer it for you. And this goes across any question for any of the processes that we're all chasing. It doesn't matter whether it's the do not detain list. We had a nice conversation earlier today. I did a live chat talking about the passport process. So there's things on there. There's people who have knowledge, who've been through some experience, been through some battles, been through some wars, have had successes, had failures, learned from other people's mistakes. That's what it's there for. And with that, thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for part 3. It's going to blow you away. If anybody's sending this to Chris, hey, come on, bro. Give me a call. Let's get on this next video with me. Same thing for the neutral neophyte, Mr. Harvey Dent. You're more than welcome to come on the show. Tell me what you want to know. I will give you this caveat in closing. I've done the research. I personally, and I've dug deep and found a lot of stuff, and I'm going to show you in part 3 how far I've dug. I cannot find any connection between Christopher Allen Hauser, aka Chris Hauser, whatever, and Heather Ann Tucci. I cannot find that connection. That's why I reached out to Harvey Dent because, hey, come on the show, present your evidence, let's look at it, show us the connection, prove your point, bro. I mean, it's easy. Talk is cheap. I can sit here and talk and I can say anything I want, but you know what? Unless you're seeing the actual document from a governmental website, you're not going to believe a freaking word out of my mouth, are you? Because I know I wouldn't. I want something to back that up. Well, here I am. I'm backing it all up. That's what I do. That's what the Fearless Floyd Show is all about. It's making an allegation, making a question, and backing it up. Because if you can't back up what you say, it's just baseless. Don't even waste your time and energy. And again, I'm putting this out there, okay? If you know anybody who has done the 1099A process successfully twice, okay, with 2 different things, I don't care what the things are. I don't care if it's paying your cell phone bill, your utilities, property taxes, mortgage, getting a car, paying off a loan. I don't care. Let's get the proof. Let's do a video. Let's present it to the world that it actually is a fruitful process. Because otherwise, hey, we're all having fun and games if you want to waste your time playing fun and games. That's not what I'm all about. I'm all about proof of concept, proof of success. Prove it. That's where we're at. Again, thank you for watching my show. Stay tuned for part 3. It's 8:45, so I am probably going to snack on something real quick and open up my Amazon Prime box and dive right in. Again, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so that algorithm hit up all like-minded people. They can see this video. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And man, without you guys, I'm just a guy, another head on YouTube, BitChute, and all these other channels. See you next time in part 2.